We are coming off of a very boring, atrocious episode of Big Brother last night where they never ceased to amaze me. How poor of a job the editing on this show constantly is, and that's why I always say that it's not even worth watching the episodes of Big Brother, and that's why I usually only watch and talk about the live feeds for that very reason, because I don't feel like wasting my time with the episodes. Last night's episode skipped over the big controversy of Luke getting kicked out of the house, basically. Gave us this half-ass edit that continued to just show Jared try and just come off like he wants to always give Luke a chance for what he said. The strangest part of the edit was them editing Jared going at Corey for Corey wanting to talk about the issue at hand. If you're going to cut the live feeds to not let us see the aftermath of these conversations, then you should probably do a better job editing the conversations and not just show the part of the conversation where Corey gets cut off by Jared for just wanting to discuss the issue, the reason why somebody was kicked out of the house in the first place. Seems rather obvious there. The most annoying part was Hassam lying that he didn't hear what Luke said, and I already talked about in my last video how I was most annoyed with Hassam, and that has not changed. Hassam, my least favorite person in the house, even worse than Cameron. I think Hassam is a much stranger individual than Cameron, and the last few nights have shown that. But unfortunately for me, Hassam is now the HOH. And more unfortunate for me, Hassam is dealing with a bunch of Gen Zers that are not good at this game at all. I was hoping that if Hassam became the HOH, it would just make him grow his own target bigger. And even the way he went about discussions today, kind of playing in a few people's faces from the other side, you would think that his social game would not come off very well. And I don't think his social game is that good, honestly. And it doesn't help that he has this constant ugly-ass scowl on his face at all times. The scowl never leaves his face. The man is ugly. Hassam is ugly. He looks like a Neanderthal. He definitely takes HGH. You could tell by his fucking forehead. Anybody that's a big fan of pro wrestling or baseball would probably know that. But yeah, Hassam, I'm honestly sick of looking at him because it's disgusting, and his scowl is disgusting. However, despite his pretty bad social game, the way he went about this kind of works with the Gen Zers, because I don't feel like any of them, and I've talked about this already, have a backbone. The two biggest problems with the Gen Zers in this game, other than maybe Corey, is that they don't know how to, I guess their jaws don't work on Gen Z. Like, they don't know how to close their jaw and stop talking, apparently. If you look at this house, the Gen Zers in the house just don't know how to stop talking. But also, it doesn't seem like they have a backbone, and I think that is going to be a reason why I think Hassam is not going to become a big target for the other side after this week, because I don't know how strong the other side is going to be able to stay together. Now, I do think Jag, Blue, Riley, and Matt are all pretty close, but that's only 4 people in this big game, and I think it's just going to be, they're just kind of going to be bulldozed over the way it's looking. There's no two sides. It's just the older side plus now Jared and Corey going to take over the game like a usual Big Brother season. It's just so sad and annoying that it's the same exact thing every season on this show. We already had a unanimous vote, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get close to one again, although there's a little thing that could help that, I hope. But yeah, the Gen Zers are getting ran through, and Cameron, who's not a Gen Zer, he is a millennial, he's delusional. He thinks he is a mastermind at times. He thought he was playing the other side, only to end up on the block now next to Riley. All of his weirdo behavior, wanting to protect Riley because her old 25-year-old ass somehow reminds him of his 5-year-old daughter. That now has him on the block next to Riley, all the saving he tried to do last week. That was almost the one thing that I like from Haisam this week is kind of throwing that all in Cameron's face, making Cameron look like an idiot, even though I don't think Cameron picked up on that because he is delusional, like I said. But then afterwards, it does seem like after their conversation, Haisam does actually trust Cameron. And I think that between the three people Haisam is going to put on the block this week, I do feel like he wants Cameron out the least. So he's nominating Riley and Cameron in hopes of getting Riley out, because Riley is the one person who said Haisam's name last week. He has all this information, mostly from Jared, but not really, because that entire group of Gen Zers told all their business last week because they don't know how to close their mouth because Gen Zers' jaws don't work apparently. I'll try to remember to talk to Alex about that next time I could talk to him, hopefully in the next few days. But yeah, Haisam seems to be trusting Cameron after that. The backup plan is Matt, that if one of them comes down, he would put up Matt. I think if it came down to Matt and Cameron, I think Haisam would want Matt out over Cameron. I don't, however, think his alliance would go for that. Now, the big twist is that Jared was sent to the Scaryverse after last night's HOH because Jared came in second, so that sent him to the Scaryverse. It seems like the twist is going to be very boring for television, like this whole show always is. There is some, I guess, strategy to the twist if it seems to continue to play out the way it's playing. First, Jared was sent down to the Scaryverse. So Jared misses time talking to people, but then Jared got to choose somebody else to go to the Scaryverse, and he got to come back to the house today after being in the Scaryverse for maybe around 12 hours. And now Jag is in the Scaryverse, and that meant Jag cannot be nominated. If this trend continues, maybe Jag picks somebody who then can't play in veto, and then maybe that person picks one more person and that person can't vote. If I was going to do this twist, which I wouldn't because it's boring, that's the way I would do it. Let it play out the whole week. I don't think it's fair to keep somebody down there for several days, though. Like, between the veto and the vote is a long time. But you could still have the person choose somebody else to go to the Scaryverse who can't vote. That does add more strategy to the game, at the very least. Unfortunately, it's on a show that never casts good strategists, but that is what is happening. It is very much like the old Exile Island twist on Survivor, which probably unironically was the name of Suri's first season of Survivor, where somebody gets sent away and can't be with their tribe for a while and can't vote. Maybe there will be a hidden immunity idol somewhere in the Scaryverse, and that could possibly be a way for there to be a week where somebody doesn't go home or something to that effect. Or I guess if it's a hidden immunity idol, somebody still goes home if all the votes aren't on that person playing the idol. I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to be able to do the rest of this season with only 14 players left, because there's still 13 weeks and only 14 players. So yeah, you could still have a jury battle back, and that will save you 1 week. But I still feel like there needs to be another week where somebody doesn't go home. If not, then the last few weeks of the season are going to be so stretched out and boring. Now, Jared choosing Jag, I think, was actually smart, or so I was thinking it was actually smart, because it makes his relationship with Jag still seem real. He did have some promises with Riley, though. But Jared is going to continue to Jared. And Suri was happy when Jared was in the Scaryverse, because it was good for his game, and he can't be a chatterbox like his fellow Gen Zers. And now that he's back, just like the last half hour before I recorded this, he was getting way too chatty with Blue. And is that a potential showmance? Maybe. But it kind of makes me think that maybe he only sent Jag to the Scaryverse because he wants to get closer to Blue. But in getting closer to Blue, he just gave Blue a lot of information about his own game and where he stands, and that he doesn't actually trust Riley. And if Blue is smart, she could maybe pick up on this, that Jared is the person giving info to the other side. Now, in order for Blue to pick up on this and play this, she's going to have to stop being a lazy player. Blue is an extremely lazy player so far, who just wants to basically sit around and do nothing game-wise other than talk shit. But unfortunately, she doesn't talk shit in a strategic way. She just talks shit. Like, that is her entire game so far, is make certain alliances, tell everybody who she's aligned with, and talk shit. That's not a good game plan. It's just lazy. I see her as a very lazy player. Will she actually pick up on all this info from Jared, or does she want to showmance with Jared too, or is she just playing Jared? I don't know. I'm recording this before I watch the aftermath of that conversation between Jared and Blue. But yes, Riley and Cameron are the nominees, and Riley is Hisam's target, but Suri might have other plans, because Suri and Felicia do have Riley in their back pocket, and Suri had a great conversation with Riley today, once again showing how great of a social game Suri has in her talk with Riley, and how she's going to make Riley seem like she's 100% safe this week. And I do think it is best for both Suri and Felicia's games to keep Riley this week. But that means there's going to have to be some talks within the older person alliance, the professors, to see who really should be the target this week. Once Hisam makes a renom, or after the veto and doesn't have to make a renom, Hisam's power is up. He can't vote. So Suri could get her way in this vote if she wants to keep Riley and get Cameron out. A lot of people who I usually agree with on Twitter think that if Riley stays, it's better for the game overall. And as much as I hate Cameron, I don't know if I agree with that. I think Cameron staying makes more interesting dynamics, because Riley's just dumb and weak and just going to be somebody who continues to do whatever somebody else wants. Whoever gets their hooks into Riley can make her do whatever she wants. And that's boring to me. That already plays into the Big Brother house dynamics always, where they vote with the house or vote with the HOH. Although this week might be different if Suri goes against Hisam somehow. But will she want to cause tension between that alliance? I don't know. I think Cameron staying does, as much as I don't like him, does create better dynamics, because he's kind of a wild card. He's kind of all over, but he also has that connection to Red that I think could continue to be interesting for both of those two. When Cameron tried to jump ship, Red kept trying to actually bring him into the other side, and most of the other side did not want that to happen. So I think Cameron staying actually gives us more dynamics than Riley staying. But Riley staying, I guess, keeps the 4 young Gen Zers, if Cameron were to go over Matt, if those two end up on the block at the end of the week, then it does keep Matt, Jag, Blue, and Riley together, which I guess could at least be a foursome to maybe go up against the old age home. But we'll see if that actually happens or not. Yeah, that's about it. I think the twist is boring, but there's some strategy in it if they actually are strategic. Honestly, without Izzy, these feeds would be so boring to me. I think Izzy is the feed so far this year. She continues to crack me up. I love her hatred for Cameron. I think her always on rants. She was mad at Red yesterday with his connection to Cameron, really was the main cause of that. Yeah, Izzy is a gem. That Sagittarius energy, like I always talk about, is my favorite thing. I showed my Sagittarius girlfriend some clips of Izzy, and she agreed that they are that Sagittariuses have issues, but Sagittariuses having issues and always going on rants is why they are the most entertaining astrology sign to me. They always have been. One of my best friends growing up was a Sagittarius, because the rants are always hilarious. And Izzy is another one who I'm glad is on the season, because without her, I would truly be bored with these people.